rusts.
Okay, this is lesson 2. So in lesson 1 we mashed cans and mashed tins and try to see how you get rust to help you start to think what you need to make rusting happen. But who wants rust? So this one you're going to see Keita talking about hubcaps, and they're my example of something portable that I could bring that shows you how you protect from rusting. Okay, so what's a hubcap? It's like the wheels on the bus go round and round. Okay, they come off cars. That's for those of you who aren't very techie like me. Thank you. Okay, Keita, I've got the video all tuned in on these wheel trims. What have they got to do with rusting? So, what are they made of first?
They are made of steel with chrome covering.
Okay, so can you just turn one over and make sure it's like, yep, just sit it down. Okay. So, do you remember my story about how old these are and how much weather they've had?
Like over probably, was it 5 years?
Yeah, so they've been out in a heap of weather. How badly would you describe the amount of rusting they've got, these wheel trims?
The rusting isn't that bad. A little bit of like corrosion and all that's gone into it.
Okay, let me just zoom it in. Okay, so I've focused on the bit with the most rust.
Yep.
Why do you reckon that bit's got the most rust?
Because maybe that place was exposed to more of the rain than other places, or it's been scratched up more.
Cool, I agree with you with the second one. So that's a circle where you shove it onto the wheel, which is scientific ways, especially for girls, to know what you do with a wheel trim.
Yep.
So yep, I agree with Keita, it's about scratching. Okay, why does scratching mean it's going to be rustier?
Because it's damaged the surface that is protecting it from the rust, like the weather to rust it.
Nice. So let's look at another one and we'll use it to compare it with. Just panning over this way. Okay. Now let's get this up close. Okay. Can you tell people what they're looking at? Realise that they've right now only got a small bit right in front of them.
This is the front part of the car. Or
Yep.
the back, the bumper type thing.
Okay. So what's this? What's the metals that we got here?
We have,
Is there iron? Is there chrome?
iron.
Yep.
With a coating of chrome only on the outside.
Only on the
It
outside.
hasn't been like dipped in.
Yep, so let's just take it up over, scan it slowly so you can get the drift. Okay, so the outside of the bumper,
Yeah.
is this a bit of a cheap job?
Yes.
Okay, so you were talking about it in class today. How did you describe what they've probably done?
A business, it's like a business type of thing where they only do a cheap job, so the buyer has to buy more.
Yeah, okay, so it's going to look good for a while. Comparing it with the other chrome one, how come this one's got so much rust? They've both got iron, they've both got a coating of chrome. How come the rust is all even right up on the top?
Because it's only half, so it would have eaten through from the back, and the job was only done cheaply.
Yeah.
There was no effort put into it really.
No, so even if you can see like that the chrome is quite thick, it doesn't matter at all if the rust will happen from the other side. So what is it exposed to that makes it rust?
Water and oxygen.
Nice. Yep, those are the two things from weather that matter. Okay. What am I looking at this time, Keita?
They are aluminium
Wheel trims.
wheel trims.
Yep. Do they have aluminium on top of iron?
No, it's just full aluminium.
Well, why don't they do like the chrome one and put aluminium over the top?
Because they need to be light.
Okay. And what about the cost? Like, you know, why don't you make a solid chrome one?
Because the cost would have been more expensive. Like getting it all compacted where this one doesn't, could just be done lightly.
Yep. So definitely one feature of aluminium is its lightness.
Yep.
Now, having a look at it, so I'm going to bring it up in close. Okay, what are they going to see on that bit? What do you want them to notice?
The change of colour.
Yep. So, yep, describing change of colour. Is it also gone dull? Or not much?
Not, a little bit, not really.
Okay, so these wheel trims are the same as those other ones. They've been outside 10 years in the rain, and then last winter my class decided to put these up on the roof of the shed and wait till the end of winter, and we also scratched them to pieces. Let's find a bit of that. Okay, what am I looking at now, Keita?
You're looking at the scratch marks that your class had done to try and cause more corrosion.
Cool. Do you think it would even work for aluminium to scratch the surface?
Not really.
Okay. Does aluminium corrode at all? Or just a little?
A little.
Okay. So what aluminium does is put a coating of oxide, which is its reaction with oxygen, on top of the aluminium, and that stops what?
The corrosion.
Yeah, because it stops more oxygen getting through it. So it does its own layer. So if you scratch it, you take it down to fresh what?
Like fresh material.
Yep, so do you reckon there'll be some corrosion on these scratch bits or none at all?
There's a little bit in there.
It certainly hasn't changed colour,
no.
like that rim. That rim is definitely like straight out dirty, rusty looking colour.
Yeah.
But the scratches just look messed up, and on the amount of focus our eyes can do, same as this video camera, you can't really see much, but we're guessing that because it's got fresh aluminium, it's going to have corroded a bit with the air that got in. But then the colour of the corrosion is not usually that brown, it's usually just a dullness. Okay, now taking it over to the hubcap. Cha-ching. Okay, so please describe, Keita, what's up here?
It's pretty much the same as the other one. You've tried to scratch it.
Yep.
Well, they have scratched it too.
Okay, is there any evidence it's scratched all the way through to the iron? What colour would you reckon clean new iron would be? Is it going to be silvery looking?
Yeah.
So you reckon we'd be able to tell which was which out of chrome and iron?
No.
I don't think so. So we actually can't even tell if the chrome has got cut through. But if it had gone, aha, look what happened over here. Cha-ching. Okay, what's happened over here?
It has started to rust.
Yeah, so therefore what's your assumption about whether it got through to the iron?
By the corrosion that is shown, it has gone through to the iron.
Yeah, nice, good. So we've got some evidence. So the people scratchings from last year did work. Alrighty, now let's check with Keita and I talking about wheel trims and hubcaps that you caught the main points. Okay. We want to protect iron from rusting. Iron is cheap and quite strong, and so it's, even though it rusts, it's still a main material used for lots of constructions of all different sorts, including wheel trims on cars. Now, that one's got chrome on it, and chrome is an old school thing, okay? So you might not have seen a lot of them anymore, and you might just see them on old school cars or on shiny taps. Then, in the 70s, they'd look for cheap alternative. So it looks cheap and smooshed about. It didn't look smooshed about. The kids just had fun trying to make it get damaged. So they changed to just using aluminium. You didn't need to coat aluminium on top of iron. They just tried using it instead of iron. Okay? And then there was the really rusty bumper, and it was basically the cheap version of a chrome hubcap because it only had chrome on one side. And as Keita pointed out, it was useless trying to protect on one side only because the weather gets to the other side. Okay? Complete chrome, almost perfect protection, but expensive. Next, so, I don't know, 50s, 60s, 70s, bing, 70s, cost too much. Let's try aluminium. Aluminium doesn't need protecting from rust, but it's a little ugly.